what's your favorite thing to get here?
Coladas,
Coladas.
cortaditos, and croquetas.
Are these the best croquetas in
The
Miami?
best croquetas in all of Miami-Dade, in all of Florida, and I would say the whole world.
Wow, that says a lot. So how long have you been coming to Islas? Like ever since you've lived in West Kendall, Village Green?
I would say pretty much ever since I've been living in this house, for sure. We moved there in 2005, so 17 years and counting.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go to your mom's house?
Yes, so we're gonna go just visit real quick my mom's house. It's my childhood home. My parents bought there in 1969. They've never moved. My mom still lives there, and just have a lot of great memories there.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all the pictures. You know.
No, we're not gonna see the pictures. Definitely not. So my dad was obviously looking for a job, looking for a way to support his family, and he had an opportunity become available in Nebraska. My mom, who does not like the cold weather, was not happy about it. So they were getting ready to leave to Nebraska, and then thankfully the cousin of his that lived here got him a job in Sears. And he started working at Sears, and he worked there basically the rest of his life, up until which time they closed due to bankruptcy.
Can you imagine you would have been...
One job, one house, and he would joke, and one wife. Certainly I was this close to being a resident of Nebraska. Hello? She wants to make fun of my high school picture.
I don't want to record
You
that.
said you wanted a scrapbook? This is embarrassing, but this is what my sisters and I jokingly call the Narnia closet.
I love it.
Every single invitation, christening, graduation, anything that has an invite or a program, my mother saves, and she's taped them all. So we laugh and we call it the Narnia closet.
You travel a lot.
My parents loved to travel. That was my mom. You know, my mom worked pretty much ever since I can remember, certainly since I was young. And so she would always say she would work hard all year long so she could enjoy her vacation. So they loved traveling.
And who taught you how to cook?
Well, I mean, I would like to say I learned every good trade I have from my parents. Both my parents actually like to cook. So my mom does your traditional Cuban food. My dad was a little bit more, they used to call my friends, they would come here and he would whip stuff up for them and they would call him the MacGyver of the kitchen.
And so whenever you come in here, do you think, like, what's your favorite memory in this house?
I would say it was probably growing up. My friends, you know, had a big group of friends in high school, and so we would always come here and they would sleep over, and my parents were always very warm and welcoming, and this was kind of the house that everybody wanted to come to. So that was fun.
What's the best advice like your parents ever gave you?
Oh, okay. So here's what I'll tell you. My mom would always say, no matter the circumstance, the good Lord will provide. And she said that because there were times, difficult times financially, or other times where there was, you know, family tragedies, sickness. But I think she really embedded in me that faith and that trust. And so it was always nice when she would say that. And she still says it today. You know, especially since sometimes we often want to, you know, force things, or we want to obtain things, or reach a certain goal that we have in mind, and sometimes we neglect to see that it's not always up to us. We might have plans, but you know, sometimes God has something else in store. So this is where all the work gets done. We often joke that you should always have a doctor or a lawyer in your family, but in our case, it's best to have a mechanic. So my father-in-law has been in the business his whole life. Back to when he was in Cuba, a young boy, he learned how to change oil and do things, you know, with regards to auto repairs and mechanics. He opened his first auto repair shop in New York. I believe in 1969, and he had a couple in New York for several years, and then they moved to Florida in the late 70s, and he opened his first one in 1979, a few blocks from here, and then they moved here in 1995, and he's been here ever since. And I can't tell you the amount of people that come up to me and tell me, oh, I know your father-in-law, he's been my mechanic since New York. And so it's always nice to hear that not only is he a good mechanic, he's an honest mechanic, but he's someone that has been in the business so long, and that's really unheard of in this day and age.
Yeah, so he basically achieved the American dream.
Yeah, he did.
Pretty quickly.
He sure did. It's always very nostalgic being here because so much of my life revolved around this campus, and everything that I did, everything I am, everything I hope to be, a lot of that was molded and shaped here. Apart from the spiritual, I also met my husband here. He started in 6th grade. I came to Westwood starting in kindergarten, and I did my entire schooling here. And he came in 6th grade. He was the new kid. We knew each other, we were friends, we were friendly, and in 10th grade we started dating. And he was a football player, I was a cheerleader. So it was kind of your typical American high school sweetheart story, but it persevered, and we got married in 1996. A lot of great memories of growing up, doing your typical high school things. We were a good group of kids, and like I said, I'm friends with a lot of the people that I went to high school. Some of them I've known since elementary, and we've been lifelong friends, and so it's just it's a great experience to be back.
So he was class president, but you decided to run for office.
Yeah, that was the extent of his political career.
And so what was your favorite subject in school?
I think it was definitely English. We had a great English teacher. She really helped me hone my writing skills. I pride myself on. I think several people, yourself included, tell me that I like to pretend I'm a grammar teacher when I'm editing remarks and speeches and stuff like that. Luckily, I was good. I didn't get into too much trouble, so I never paid too many visits to the principal's office. Can't say the same for the rest of my friends, but we'll leave it at that. Right there is who I said was the high school principal when I was here, but he is now the pastor. How are you?
I'm
so good to see you.
It's good to see you.
And his wife was my cheerleading coach. So yes, so it's we're just taking a stroll down memory lane.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Get any building, let me know.
Oh, thank you. So I vividly recall Adrian and I had lockers up here. This is before we were dating, but he used to always close my locker.
Before you were dating?
Yes, we were friends.
Yeah.
So I would go, I'd rush in between classes, open my locker. It had, like the little locks there. And as I was opening it, trying to get my books, he would close it. So that was his, I think that was his first attempt at flirting with me. They didn't look like this, but they were located here. We used to struggle with the lockers, but eventually, I guess, I figured out how to get to my books without him closing my locker. Enjoyed getting to know a little bit about me, everything from my childhood home, the school I attended, my husband's family business, my neighborhood coffee shop. All of these different things have impacted me, have shaped me, and molded me into the person I am today.